SEO metadata, writing tags that attract leads. SEO metadata is your first sales touch. B2B teams are juggling outbound, LinkedIn, paid, events, and partners, but organic search is still the quiet channel that keeps sending high-intent buyers to your site. In many cases, your first cold touch isn't an SDR email. It's a Google result where your title tag and meta description decide whether the right buyer clicks or keeps scrolling. When 71% of B2B buyers start with a generic search, those few lines of text become a frontline sales asset, not an SEO afterthought. That matters because organic search is not nice-to-have traffic. Across B2B sites, organic contributes roughly 62% of website traffic and around 44.6% of revenue, which means your snippets influence a real share of pipeline before anyone ever sees your landing page. If your metadata is vague, stuffed with jargon, or duplicated across pages, you're letting competitors position the problem and the solution for you. In this guide, we treat SEO metadata like conversion copy, short, intentional, and written for decision makers. We'll show how to map each snippet to buyer intent, write titles and descriptions that attract qualified leads, not just clicks, and build a testing cadence that ties improvements to meetings and revenue, not just rankings. Why metadata directly impacts B2B pipeline. If you lead sales, you care about predictability, steady demand, consistent lead quality, and fewer wasted cycles. Organic search already generates about 53% of inbound leads for B2B marketers, and those leads tend to close at materially higher rates, around 14.6% for SEO leads versus about 1.7% for traditional outbound. That's not an argument to ditch outbound. It's a reminder that every incremental organic click you earn is disproportionately valuable. Click-through rate, CTR, is where that value begins. In 2025 benchmarks, the number one organic result averages about 39.8% CTR, and the top three positions capture roughly 68 to 69% of all clicks. If you've already fought your way onto page one, weak snippets quietly leak demand to competitors, even when you outrank them. This is why we push teams to treat titles and descriptions like mini sales pitches. They should set expectations, pre-qualify the visitor, and move the right buyer to the next step. Below is a simple benchmark view that helps teams internalize the leverage you get from tiny CTR changes at the top of the SERP. Write snippets like ad copy, not IT settings. The fastest way to improve metadata is a mindset shift. Your title tag and description are not internal labels, they're ad copy competing for attention. Lead with the business problem and the outcome your ideal customer profile, ICP, wants. Then weave in the primary keyword so Google and humans both understand relevance. If a VP of sales wouldn't be intrigued by the snippet, it's not doing its job. The second shift is intent mapping. A blog post meant for problem-aware buyers should promise clarity and a next step. See benchmarks, avoid common mistakes, while a vendor-aware page should reduce risk, reviews, pricing, complexity, case studies. When teams reuse the same template across the entire site, every result looks interchangeable, and you attract the wrong clicks, which clogs SDR calendars with bad fit conversations. Finally, use the language your prospects already use. Pull phrasing straight from discovery calls and outbound talk tracks. Missed quota, long sales cycles, inconsistent pipeline, poor lead quality. And mirror it in search snippets so the click feels like a continuation of an existing conversation. This is especially powerful on pages for services like cold calling services, sales outsourcing, or an outsourced sales team, where buyers are often comparing vendors and scanning for "do they get my situation?" signals. A simple workflow to rewrite high-impact metadata. Start with an audit that's tied to pipeline, not vanity traffic. Export your top 50 URLs by organic traffic and revenue influence. Then review each title tag and meta description for clarity, uniqueness, intent match, and lead-focused messaging. Prioritize pages that already rank on page 1 but underperform on CTR. Those are the quickest wins because the demand exists and you're simply not capturing it. For titles, use a repeatable B2B framework that doesn't devolve into keyword stuffing. Primary keyword, outcome for ICP, optional proof. The keyword anchors relevance, while the outcome filters for fit and sets expectations. For example, instead of a generic label, a B2B sales agency page can promise what the buyer actually wants: qualified meetings, faster ramp, predictable pipeline, while staying concise. For meta descriptions, write them like a 2-sentence pitch. Name the pain, hint at the mechanism, and end with a clear CTA. Importantly, keep each description page-specific, especially for money pages like comparisons, pricing, and case studies, so you're not training buyers to see your domain as repetitive. Even a modest lift compounds, and pages with custom meta descriptions average about 5.8% higher CTR than pages without them. A title tag isn't a keyword container. It's a promise to the right buyer that the click will be worth their time. Title tags that attract qualified leads, not curiosity clicks. B2B title tags win when they are specific, outcome-driven, and easy to parse at a glance. Large-scale CTR research shows titles in the 40 to 60 character range earn about 33.3% higher CTR than titles outside that band, largely because they communicate a complete idea without truncation. Use the character limit as a constraint that forces clarity, not as a rule that forces awkward wording. Avoid the most common mistake we see: stuffing in multiple keywords and internal jargon. Solutions, platform, enterprise grade, that reads like spam. One primary keyword is usually enough. The rest of the space should create demand by stating who it's for and what it helps them achieve. A cold calling agency page can be both SEO-friendly and sales-friendly when it clearly signals who, B2B SaaS sales leaders, and why, more qualified meetings, fewer bad fits. Where it fits, add lightweight proof to reduce risk without turning the title into a brag line. For service pages like a sales development agency, SDR agency, or cold email agency, proof can be as simple as years in business, volume of meetings booked, or a narrow specialization. Anything that helps a buyer choose your result in a crowded SERP. Then test. If you're unsure whether US-based team or book more demos will resonate, ship one, measure, and iterate. Meta descriptions that pre-qualify and move buyers forward. Meta descriptions don't directly raise rankings, but they heavily influence who clicks, and that affects everything downstream. Your goal isn't to sound nice, it's to attract a buyer with a real need and set the right expectation for the page. Keep descriptions roughly 140 to 160 characters so the value prop and CTA survive truncation, and make the first clause do the hard work by stating the pain or trigger. The second common mistake is using one generic template across every URL. Duplicate descriptions make every result from your site look the same, and they waste your chance to match intent. Your pricing, case study, and competitor comparison pages are often where deals are won, so their snippets should say what's unique about that asset and why it's the right next click for vendor-aware buyers. Add a CTA that aligns to the page's role in the funnel. On problem-aware content, invite Learn How or See Examples. On solution-aware pages, invite Compare Options or See the Process. On vendor-aware pages, invite See Pricing, read reviews, or view case studies. This is also where you can naturally align language with outbound. If your SDRs lead with shorten ramp time for outsourced sales conversations, that phrasing belongs in the snippet too. Common mistakes that quietly kill CTR and how to fix them. Keyword stuffing is the obvious one, but the deeper issue is unclear positioning. Overloaded titles try to rank for everything and end up convincing nobody, which can drag CTR and eventually weaken performance. The fix is disciplined focus. One primary keyword, one clear audience, and one outcome, especially on high-intent pages like B2B cold calling services, sales outsourcing, or a cold calling team offering. Another failure mode is organizational, letting only SEO or only sales own the snippet. If marketing writes in a vacuum, your metadata won't reflect how buyers actually talk. If sales writes alone, you'll likely ignore search behavior and intent. The fix is a quick co-writing workshop where marketing brings keyword and SERP context and sales brings voice of customer phrasing from real calls. Then you rewrite the top 20 to 50 snippets together and standardize what good looks like. Finally, teams often measure the wrong success metric. Rankings and CTR are useful, but a clicky title that pulls low-intent traffic can make dashboards look great while making your SDRs miserable. The fix is to connect snippet updates to downstream KPIs, form fills, meetings booked, ops created, so you optimize for revenue quality, not raw traffic volume. Testing cadence and measurement that ties to revenue. Treat metadata testing like you treat email subject line testing, systematic, time-bound, and tied to outcomes. Each quarter, pick 5 to 10 high-impact URLs, service pages, comparison pages, top-converting blog posts. Ship new titles and descriptions, then let results run for 4 to 6 weeks to accumulate impressions. If you already have strong rankings, this is often the highest leverage conversion work you can do without redesigning anything. Google Search Console gives you the baseline: impressions, clicks, CTR by query, and page. The next step is tagging key pages so you can connect snippet changes to pipeline in your analytics and CRM. Meetings, opportunity creation, and close rates. This is where sales and marketing alignment becomes real, because you can prove whether changes helped your SDR agency pages or your cold calling services pages generate better conversations, not just more sessions. At SalesHive, we push for one story across channels. The same pains and offers that win in cold calling and cold email outreach should show up in your SERP snippets because buyers reward consistency. When search snippets, landing pages, and SDR talk tracks use the same language, you reduce friction, shorten research cycles, and increase the odds that the click turns into a qualified meeting instead of a bounce.